Okay, we're going to cover the crow today. Now I want to be able to cover beginner options, so someone who hasn't done a crow before or just needs to strengthen the basic position, and then people who are confident in the crow position and ready for the more advanced stuff, all the way through to an air baby, which is a one leg, one arm balance. So let's first cover the basic position. So everyone will do this slightly different. It's depending on the placement of the knee onto the elbow. The main thing with the standard position is it's trying to find a position where you're comfortable. So you don't want to be hanging off the edge of the position and then it to be a lots of work. It should be somewhere you can hold for 30, even 30 second plus and breathe normally, hold a conversation in that position. So we want to try and hit that first. So it's elbows on top of the hands, place the knees on top. Ideally, we want to transition very slowly into it. We don't want to be jumping into it because it's way harder to catch. So if we slowly go from a squat position and then slowly lean forwards until either the toes come off, or if you're still working on the position, increase time here with tiptoes still on the floor, but try and have 99% of your weight in the hands. So then we can work holds there. If you're a bit more comfortable with it, we can start to lift the toes up. If you can lift the toes up and comfortably hold for 20, 30 seconds, we can then either change the position slightly to make it harder, or we can transition the other way. So if we've done squat to crow, we can then go squat towards the headstand. So you might not be able to go all the way down, so you could have a target to place the head on and then come back up again. If you can go all the way down to the head to kiss the floor, then it's trying to come back up again. One way of working this is in reverse, so we can start in a headstand position, put the knees onto the elbows, slowly transition backwards towards the crow. What you'll need to do as the head comes off the floor is take the shoulders and the head forwards to catch the position. And then we can work that standard position, so just working time under tension in the crow, either with tiptoes or with feet off. We can then do transitions forward and back, and we can change the height. So one way of making the crow harder is to elevate. So we can start to straighten the arms and take the knees up towards the armpits. Some of this is going to be flexibility. I struggle to get in that tight tuck position because I have tight hips. So knees towards the armpits is challenging for me, but I'm quite strong in the straight arm position, so I can make it a little bit more planchy and I can get there with straight arms. So again, we can hold those positions at different heights for time, or we can transition up and down. Now, the other one to practice is what I call the Squish Crow. So it's all the way down to the floor. It's like a peacock position if you do peacock in yoga, but with everything drawn into a ball and have the elbows pushed into your hips. It depends on your limb length and your position here. You might need to take the knees out to the side to create some space. But if we can practice that low position or that Squish Crow for time as well. So then we have a high crow, we have a standard crow, and we have the low crow, and we can transition from the top down. So from the top, slowly lower through the crow, finish in that bottom position. And then strength-wise, we can try and build that up so we can go back up through that position. It's like a planche push-up nearly, pretty tricky to get that. You need to make sure that you're balanced throughout. And ideally with those transitions, you should be able to pause at any point and show control. Then once we've got those, we can even mix this up as well, because some of the single arm positions are actually easier than doing those transitions. So we can start to think about decreasing the weight in one knee, increasing the weight on the other knee, or just increasing the push with the hands. So first of all, I'm going to start in my standard crow position, and then all I'm going to do is try and take weight out of the knee and try to make the leg weightless to the point where I might be able to lift the leg. I can even extend it out if I have the balance, and then come back again. So again, we can work just that transition and trying to lift the leg, or we could do holds with less weight in one knee. So it might be 50% of less weight than you had previously, or you might want to do a hold if you can with the leg lifted. And obviously if you do one side, try and do the other side. Now I actually think it's easier to learn the single leg crow in from a down dog position. So you're lowering from the top down into the position. So here, starting in the down dog position, I'm going to take one knee forwards, place it in the normal position on the knee to do a two-legged crow, but now I've only just got one leg in position. And I'm just going to raise up to tiptoe on that back foot and do a hold there. If it feels comfortable, if I can do it with hardly any weight on the toe, I can try and lift that leg, and then I have the single leg crow. Then we can look at doing the same thing but with both legs. This is where we start to go into a little bit more strength. So I'm going to go into my normal crow position, and then I'm going to decrease the weight in my knees on both legs at the same time. The goal here would be getting to the point where I can actually just float the knees very close to the elbows, but float them off, and I can alternate legs, I can hold off, I can raise up and down. If your goal is to raise up to handstand and come back down again, this is a good one, like a prerequisite to start to condition that position, that where your knees are just off the elbows. Then we can work towards the cool party trick, the air baby. So that's single leg, single arm. So this one we need to think about a little bit different than the crow because it has a twist, a rotation in the body. So I'm going to go straight into a single leg position. I'm not going to go from a two leg, and I'm actually going to rotate the body and try and twist the hip on top of the other hip as best I can and get some rotation. And then I'm going to have fingertips. So first of all, 5 fingers, try and get into that rotated position and just hold there. Then I can see if I can reduce fingers. So very similar to how we train the one arm handstand, and I'm going to slowly decrease the fingers and go for holds. And then once I can get to 1 finger, I can start to bounce the finger up and down, and then when that's comfortable I can start to lift the hand up. The back leg has a lot to do with your position here, so you can practice with a bent knee, you can point, so if you find it hard to rotate like I do, you can take one leg over a little bit further so that back leg can hang out to the side, and that will compensate for a lack of rotation slightly. And then hand position when you lift off as well will help you find balance and control because your body just wants to twist out of it. So holding positions, start with 5 fingers, 4 fingers, 3 fingers. Same as the one arm handstand though, be careful that you don't start to throw the hand up in the air because it will shift the body really quickly and find it hard to balance. So have a play with those. Let me know if you have any questions. Stick any questions in the comments. Subscribe, thumbs up will be appreciated. See you next time.